This is the question every cyclist will face at one point in their cycling lifestyle. Should I get a bigger frame or a smaller frame? Today we're going to discuss bigger versus smaller. Does size matter? When, why, and how? Let's get into it. Alright, so we've got bigger versus smaller. Which size could you get? Does size matter? Yes, it does. Alright, let's get into the video. Bigger, smaller. Bigger frame, smaller frame. Super 6 Evo for the win. This 764, so this is a 50. It's a 50 centimeter BB. Pepe's purring around. Here we go. Cat jump. This is a 50 centimeter, and it's a lot lighter, isn't it? It's even got bearing cups now as well. So 764. There's no hanger. It's just they're both naked frames. Big difference in weight. So here we have a Cannondale. This is a 60 centimeter, 60, and so that is Super 6 Evo, and we are 185. So Super 6 Evo, 185. Let's go weigh. So this is the deal here. It's, what do you want? What do you get? Bigger or smaller? What do you get? If you get bigger or smaller, personally, I prefer a smaller frame. How tall am I? I'm 6 foot tall, 183 centimeters, and I ride a 58 when I'm looking for more endurance stuff, and when I'm going for more Strava stuff, I do prefer the 54 tarmac, or a 54 Pragma Glycogen, or a 54 Merida, or etc. Cannondale. I prefer the 54. If I just had to have one bike rest of my life, probably a 56, because it sort of does both pretty well. But endurance wise, if you're doing 300 kilometers a day or 600k a day, I do prefer a bit more stack height, so you're less bent over, right? But when I'm going full gas up the climb, a lower front end is easier to really get the watts out. And that's why you see most pro riders, not all, but most pro riders have a smaller frame than the size chart would indicate. Now, exceptions are Lance Armstrong. He was shorter than me. He's 178, and he rode a 58 centimeter Trek with quite a few spaces under there. And if you look at his seat to stem height drop, there wasn't much difference. And then you have extreme guys, extreme dudes like that vegan cyclist, pro cyclist, Adam Hansen, the vegan cyclist in the Pro Tour. Adam Hansen, he rides a really small frame. He's taller than me, and he has this extreme stem length and handlebar drop. It's huge. Right? So that's an extreme, but that works for him. He has his seat smashed forward. He's even got a seat post flipped around pointing that way. So he's just extremely aggressive, steep seat angle, small frame, big drop, and that works for him. Put someone like Chris Froome on that bike, and that wouldn't work for them, or Lance Armstrong even. So it comes a lot down to your flexibility. I notice when I, when I do more flexibility work, stretching my hamstrings, etc., you definitely feel more comfortable on the bike. Again, it comes down to what works for you. You don't want to copy your favorite pro rider because it looks cool on Instagram or whatever. I have my stem slammed, but that's for more shorter efforts and Strava stuff. And if I was going to go, when I've ridden across Australia, which I've done that before, Perth, the Indy Pack course via Byron Bay up to tip of Cape York, I had a pretty sort of high stem. I remember back, it was 2002, I did the Adelaide to Perth leg, and I had like a quill stem in there, and I could bring it up, so it was really cool. Less pressure on the hands. So it depends, again, what sort of riding you're doing. If you're doing a lot of long stuff or weekly mileage, you're probably going to find a really slam position isn't the best for you. But again, it's individual. It's individual. There's no one can say, oh, your bike setup's really bad, your bars are too high, unless you're riding maybe a city cruiser bike. So it depends. On the road bike, you've got to experiment. Slam your bars, all right? Put your bars up, flip your stem up, see what you prefer, see what you climb better at, see what feels more aggressive. Do an experiment. But please, when you have a carbon fork, get one of those long steerer plugs in there, like a 10 mil Colnago steerer plug in there. And then that way, when you do put your stem up and down, you're not going to put any stress on your carbon steerer from not having any spaces in, enough. You see my videos on the carbon steerer. Just go to carbon steerer on my channel, carbon steerer safety, and then I'll explain what I'm trying to talk about. Make sure you run deep plugs, all right? So some of you have already cut your steerer, and you're like, well, hang on, how do I test it now? Flip your stem, get a stem that points up. But again, if you've already slammed your stem, you know that works for you best. But if you're going to do a cross Australia race or whatever,
or some Audax riding, you probably might could just flip your stem up, like Floyd Landis did. Remember when Floyd Landis flipped his stem up because he had a bit of a back issue, and he won the 2006 Tour de France with a flip stem. So there you go. It's not about aesthetics. It's all about what works for you. Test ride, then decide.